More of the Valley Today at 6 a.m. starts right now.
This is the Valley Today.
Thank you for joining us this morning on the Valley Today at 6 a.m. I'm Ashlyn Hill.
And I'm Alex Larson. We're continuing to follow breaking news out of Jamestown after a house explosion early this morning.
That call coming in just after 1:30 a.m. at 545 1st Street West. Now, this was the scene early this morning. According to Jamestown fire officials on scene, the cause of that explosion unknown at this time. They don't know if it came from inside or outside that residence.
Officials say one person was taken to the hospital, but we do not know their condition right now. You can stick with us as we continue to follow this developing story.
Turning our attention now to the forecast. A hot but windy day ahead across the valley.
For the details on what's coming our way, let's send things on over to meteorologist Lisa Green. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning. Today we are looking out for that wind picking up, and it's actually going to help us out with helping to clear away that wildfire smoke. So that will be a good thing ultimately here for today. We're looking toward downtown Fargo, and in the foreground, I-94 and the University Interchange looking really good for visibility. This is a big improvement from yesterday. So that's a good sign here. Here's a look at our latest alerts. I mentioned the wind. We do have a wind advisory. It takes effect at 1 p.m., lasting until 7 p.m. For today. So afternoon, evening hours being the time when we're going to be most impacted by that wind. A gust to 45 miles per hour or so. And you can see it's more likely we'll see stronger winds in the eastern part of North Dakota and then west from there. Doesn't mean we won't have a breeze in Minnesota as well, likely just not as strong. Looking at our air quality alert remaining in effect until 10 a.m. We are seeing air quality right now more in the yellow category. I can't rule out us dipping into the orange for a time, but the overall trend is for us to improve. And so right now we're in that moderate range where more highly sensitive folks may still be noticing the smoke. But again, this is a big improvement over being in that unhealthy range like we were yesterday for much of the day. Most places reporting good visibility. You can see Langdon down to less than a mile. Some spots in the northern valley seeing some reduced visibility this morning. So continuing to watch that. Beyond that issue, we are looking really good on our radar and satellite map right now. Some showers out to the west that may just impact our northwestern viewing area later on, but most of us experiencing sunshine, most of us just more concerned about that increasing wind. So here's a look at our planner on our VNL weather app today. By noon, we'll be seeing temperatures approaching 80 degrees. That south wind going to be hot air rushing in, so we're going to see our temperatures surge again, getting into some mid to some upper 80s for this afternoon in a lot of spots. So be ready for that summertime heat to be back today. We'll let you know if it'll last coming up in the forecast as we approach the weekend. We do have some rain chances returning, so more on that to come in just a bit.
And those high temperatures with some wind.
It's definitely going to feel like we've got some heat blasting at us. We've been talking about it feeling more like a hairdryer blowing at you here for today. So be ready for it not to cool you down too much as you step out into that wind.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lisa.
One person is in custody after a shooting in Jamestown.
Police say around 1 a.m. yesterday, an officer reported hearing shots in a southeast Jamestown neighborhood.
They eventually say they found a parked unoccupied SUV in the 1400 block of 6th Avenue Southeast, riddled with bullet holes. Now, no one was hurt, though there were occupied homes nearby.
Later, around 9 a.m., police arresting 22-year-old Micah Streifel on felony reckless endangerment, criminal mischief, and unlawful discharge charges. He was taken to the Stutsman County Jail.
Police have arrested the man they say made threats that caused a West Fargo elementary school to go on lockdown on Tuesday. On September 10th, police responded to Westside Elementary School after a man on a bicycle made threats to a school staff member.
Charges of terrorizing are recommended for 48-year-old James Arnson. The school was placed on secure school protocol for about 20 minutes. We are still waiting to learn what exactly he said.
Yesterday, also, we got more information on a man who suffered life-threatening injuries after being hit by a truck while riding his bike in Fargo on Tuesday. It happened around 9:30 in the morning at the intersection of 40th Avenue and 25th Street South.
Authorities just identifying that man as 66-year-old Jay Holding Eagle of Fargo. They say he was entering a crosswalk not wearing a helmet, and that's when he was hit by a truck driven by a 49-year-old man who police say is not facing any charges right now.
Extreme weather events continuing to unfold on two coasts, and scientists have now updated their tally of major weather and climate disasters.
So far this year, 20 disasters have hit the U.S., causing $53 billion of damage and killing 149 people. Last year set the record with 28 major disasters.
Right now, massive wildfires like the Line Fire burn across the west, while Tropical Storm Francine strengthens and both extreme weather events have clear links to climate change. Meteorologist and climate reporter Chase Kane brings us the story.
This might seem like a split-screen moment from a weather perspective. Massive wildfires in the west, a storm strengthening in the Gulf. But from a climate perspective, they're actually both connected by one important part of atmospheric physics. A hotter atmosphere holds more moisture. Here in the west, that means the atmosphere is essentially thirstier. And that is just creating more fuel for these wildfires a lot more quickly.
The air can hold more water when it's warmer. So as temperatures rise, the atmosphere can actually take more water out of the landscape. It can absorb more water from, the soils, the plants, and it increases the aridity. And that is something that we're seeing because of human-caused climate change.
More dry vegetation means more fuel for the Line Fire and dozens of other wildfires burning a combined 2.2 million acres across the west. Meantime, in the Gulf, Francine continues strengthening as it moves over record hot waters, more than 2 degrees above average. And Climate Central calculates that those sea surface temperatures were 200 times more likely because of human-caused climate change.
This isn't just a tropical system. This isn't just weather. This is weather being made more intense because of climate change, and we can see that with a very clear signal in our oceans.
Plus, it's not just the surface. The warm water right now is pretty deep.
NBC Miami hurricane specialist John Morales says that's giving storms like Francine more jet fuel to help them strengthen more quickly just before they make landfall.
And unfortunately, yes, there is more of that jet fuel that these tropical cyclones can tap into and lead to rapid intensification. Look at Otis in 2023. Tropical storm one day, Category 5 hurricane the next, and causing fatalities and causing massive destruction, nearly without warning.
And even after Francine makes landfall, the storm has the potential to drop even more flooding rains farther inland because climate change is heating up our atmosphere. So the through line is that burning oil and gas makes our atmosphere and our oceans hotter, supercharging hurricanes, how much rain they can drop, and creating more days like this. Hot and dry days that allow fires to spread more easily, especially once the wind picks up. So the bottom line is that the extremes get more extreme and we get more frequent disasters. In Highland, California, I'm meteorologist Chase Kane.
North Dakota Game and Fish's Doug Lear came by for his weekly segment on Valley News Now.
This week, he shared updates on youth deer and duck hunting with both seasons opening up this weekend.
This is about getting the young kids out there hunting. This is not about dad or mom. This isn't about your neighbor. This is about that one-on-one mentorship for youth deer hunters, for youth waterfall hunters. The youth waterfall hunt, that's on Saturday and Sunday. And it's not the only time to take the young kids out hunting. That's the other thing that we try to really remind people is while this is a specific youth opportunity for deer and for ducks, it's also not the only time.
To register for youth deer or waterfowl hunting, head on over to gf.nd.gov.
Well, a daily walk can be good for us and our pets. Still to come this morning here on the Valley Today, how this habit is also helping the environment.
But next, meteorologist Lisa Green is in with your full forecast to plan the day. Stick around.